Hello, all you beautiful drywallers out there. In honor of passing over the 2-year anniversary of the Drywall Podcast, we're dropping the second part of Pearls of Wisdom episode for our 98th episode. And man, do we have some good pearls of wisdom.
Something that my dad taught me is you can never finish something on the first coat.
Okay.
It always takes more than that.
Don't try. We've all tried. If you're listening, don't even say that you haven't tried to like coat something once and leave and and then the homeowner called you back, because we've all tried it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, can't finish something on the first coat. And that can be related to so many things though.
Yeah.
It can be related to what it's meaning for, like actually work, drywall. But also like it takes more than just one attempt at something to make something work.
Be prepared to be inspired with this, the 98th episode, part 2, Pearls of Wisdom from our very own drywall professionals in the drywall community. How awesome is that? Also, stay tuned for episodes 99 and 100 as we introduce Brandon Hunter with Serpro Stilts. This dude has been everywhere, worked for every company, and has been in the thick of it for years and is extremely knowledgeable. And our very own Paps Dugan, all the way back from episode 1, revisits the Drywall Podcast for episode 100 in honor of our 100th episode. All good things, and maybe some drywall wisdom sprinkled in. This episode of the Drywall Podcast and all of the episodes of the Drywall Podcast in the month of June are brought to you by Rocket City Drywall out of Huntsville, Alabama. Not only are they contributing to the success of the Drywall Podcast, but you can also listen to owner Alana Black's story on episodes 96 and 97. Check them out. They are good. Alana discusses her path to owning this thriving drywall retailer and how that path enabled her to discover a new product. Not many women get to say that they learned to drive behind the wheel of a forklift at 8 years old, but that's just one of many skills Alana learned from her grandfather at Rocket City Drywall. She's owned the mom and pop supply yard in Huntsville since 2016 and has dedicated her life to preserving the legacy of her family business. Serving residential and commercial construction, she promotes old school business values while pushing her industry to be ever growing and innovative and quality. She reminds us to never underestimate the little giants. But for now, sit back and enjoy wisdom from your peers in the drywall industry with this, the 98th episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Ray Anderson, episode 95. And lastly, a question I ask everybody that comes on the Drywall Podcast. First of all, thank you so much. This has been awesome, Ray. Did you have fun?
I did. Yeah, always did.
It's better talking to a drywall guy, right?
My wife says I'm a talker.
Yeah, you are. That's okay. I am too. A pearl of wisdom that you could bestow on the drywall community, what would it be?
Don't do what I did. I did enough research for all of us.
What's the alcohol? Yeah, steer clear of alcohol. At least in moderation. If you have a problem, get help. There are places that you can go. You can email me. I'm sure that you could email or reach out to Ray. Yeah. People that are in recovery are very receptive to people that are looking to get clean or sober. Any other pearls of wisdom? You've given a bunch, but like something that hit home to you. I really like the walk away concept.
Let it dry.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Let it dry. Yeah.
And when it does come to drugs and alcohol too, what I like to tell people is if you don't have to do it, don't do it. And if you do have to do it, get help. That's
great.
My absolute worst day, sober today is still far better than my best day as a drunk.
Yeah.
So,
and that's a good pearl of wisdom. Ray Anderson, the Drywall Doctor. I've been following you for a long time. The Drywall Podcast follows you on YouTube. The Fresco Harmony had already followed you on YouTube, and then now Nick Harmon follows you on YouTube as well. And then you have a Facebook page, the Drywall Doctor on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. What about Instagram?
I have an Instagram too. The Drywall Doctor on YouTube, Instagram.
Okay.
I do have that too.
Walter Baker, episode 94. Damn. I was going to ask you for a pearl of wisdom, but that is probably as good as it gets. Can you say that again for just in case anybody missed it?
Well, the builder told me when I was...
And also tell me what that means to you.
Well, I used to do a lot of work with nothing in writing. And like I said, I never lost a dime. We're talking hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was doing tracks for these regular builders and they wanted everything in writing. And I was complaining to this one builder because I was new to lien releases and this and that.
Yeah.
And he told me, he says, Walter, he goes, the day that you have to sign a contract is the day there will never be enough money in that contract to get the money out of that contract. In other words, you're going to get screwed in the end.
Right.
And he was so correct.
What did you do with that advice? Thank you for being on the Drywall Podcast. This was cool, right?
It was. One piece of advice I'd like to give everybody, though, is I've learned over the years.
Yeah.
Do something the next guy won't. I don't have a college education, but I have lived the dream. I have put my children through college. Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
Drywall has paid off. But you got to have the right attitude and you got to be willing to do what the next guy is not.
I like it.
Even if you're on a job, in the union or hourly or whatever, I'm not saying you need to kiss everybody's ass, but the golden rule in life is he who has the tools rules. Well, he who has the tools rules, and the tools can be fine. Tools can be in your truck, your knowledge. Always be willing to learn something.
In the recovery movement, they call it a toolbox. Keep your stuff in your toolbox. The good stuff that sometimes you need to get into that toolbox. Pull out those useful tools from time to time.
A lot of times, guys, you go to work for through your life. A lot of times, first impressions are everything. And if you show up on a job with a wooden sanding pole, pan and a knife, 6, 10, 12, 8, whatever, and a couple of buckets and a brush and a sponge, even though, say, in the union, that's really all they require. And you got another guy that comes in with, a smoothing knife, got an assortment of stuff, and he's got an extendable pole sander. Who are you going to hire? The guy without the tools, that's going to be his attitude while he's working for you. He's not going to put out much at all. Very rarely. Now, I'm saying there are some exceptions.
Sure.
But you can always pretty much judge somebody and what they're going to do by the tools they bring on the job.
Faith Bayless, episode 93. Well, I do a pearl of wisdom on every episode. So if you could bestow a pearl of wisdom onto the drywall community.
I guess we'll circle back to with what we started with is that, just don't let your own fears stop you from taking the opportunities that present themselves and, just do it. Even if you're scared to do it, just jump in and take it, and wherever it takes you, let it happen. Just go with the flow, and really just don't let your fears stop you from what you want to do.
Kind of like the podcast too, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you were sort of scared to do Brawley's, and now hopefully you have the confidence to do Sean's podcast too, because he is a lot of fun to talk to, and it's it's pretty much just as simple as this one.
Yeah. Well, and I've met Sean too, so we've
Yeah.
spoke face to face, and yeah, I don't know why I was so nervous. I don't know what's so scary about it, but
It's interesting. It's the unknown. It's the unknown, and it's okay. It's okay to be scared, and it's okay to push through that fear. It's a fantastic pearl of wisdom, and I don't think, we go anywhere. There's a saying, the world is a vast book. Those who never stray from home read only a page. There's a lot of truth to that. Like,
yeah, that's a very good way to put it.
Cam had never been on an airplane. He came down to Albuquerque and did a fresco harmony training. He was down here for 2 weeks. He had never been on an airplane.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Yeah. That's a big
So,
step to take.
and now he's all over he's going up to Canada, and he's over here and he's over there, and he just went to Florida, and everybody's hooking up and we're having fun. And so I'm trying to encourage a lot of people. We're going to be doing a training in Toronto at CSR. Cameron Brown, episode 92. Pearl of wisdom that you can offer. And then I have one more question.
I was thinking about this before the show, and then you texted me and told me to hop on early, and
Okay.
that kind of went out the window.
Good. I want it to
I
be
think
fresh.
My last one was with persistence will come success.
Okay,
And that's
right?
true. I guess we could kind of like branch off of that one. And consistency is key. I feel like let's go with that. And you asked me, about growing your social media page. Like you have to stay consistent. If you take that little hiatus, that break away from the page, like the algorithm and people both see that, and it's not good. You got to stay consistent. You've got to stay relevant, and just keep on grinding, keep on posting, keep on doing your thing.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. And I won't do a big hiatus on any of my pages. I don't post a lot on the Nick Harmon page, but the Drywall Podcast and the Fresco Harmony page, one a day at least. Like, I think that's minimum, right?
Yeah, whether it's your story or making a post. My thing right now is one post a week, sometimes two, depending on, what I've got going on. It gets a little chaotic, when you're traveling all over the place and trying to make content,
or you could
what
be
I
like
ask for.
Sean Ramsden, and you could post like 20 stories a day. Some people do it that way too.
I can't do that. Like much love to him. I love tuning into his stories, but I just can't.
I know.
It just it seems like as soon as I make a post on Instagram, whether it's a story, somebody's in my DMs, and then I'm really bad about taking the time to message people back. Like it takes a lot of my energy fielding DMs, and it's always just the bros, just checking in with you, or sending you like something positive, but it's a lot. It's a lot to handle.
Chris Bush, episode 90. That's funny. Yeah. So Kevin's he's like such a talker, and then maybe you guys are a little bit different in that way.
I've learned to listen.
Yeah, that's smart.
To listen, because especially when I was younger, I still do it sometimes. My mouth will get me into trouble.
Sure.
So I've learned in the past couple of years to listen a little more.
Okay. Well, hey, Chris.
That comes to mind, because that can be bad.
Well, I would say that that's also a pearl of wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Because you can listen all you want, but you can't take back what you said. You can apologize.
Yeah.
Doesn't take back what you said. Drywallers aren't exactly the upper crust of society.
Sure. We all know that, Chris.
We tend to get the lower crust felons.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I have advice. I'm still pretty young. I don't know. I'm still learning.
I think you do. You see, you're a pretty sharp guy. Just something maybe that you picked up along the way that you feel like would help maybe somebody getting into the trade or somebody that's been in the trade a while? Maybe is a better question.
If you're working in a finished house, bring tarps and clean up after yourself.
Love it. Don't be a pig. Adam Luce, episode 72. And then the other question I ask is a pearl of wisdom that you could bestow onto the drywall community. What would that be?
I wish be patient, slow down. You know, a lot of guys are very rushed into circumstances. I think, unfortunately, it's out of their control. But a lot of my crew, at least in my management style, yes, they're going to work hard. They're going to work fast because it's the style they get paid. But what tends to happen is that if everybody just took the time, slowed down a little bit, the quality will go up and they won't have to come back. So a lot of it is just
right.
I try to get the guy, just relax. You know, it's just drywall. At the end of the day, you know, it's just drywall. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's not get too far into the weeds with it.
Get down off the stilts and go find the urinal.
Go to the bathroom. Yes. I mean, you're right though. I mean, because everything is such at a pace, they don't even want to stop to take the stilts off and go use the restroom. So it's like, calm down, you know. I mean, that would be my opinion. I mean, the drywall world is it's a very big but very small place, as you've probably realized. I mean, you tend to run into everybody that, you know. But I'd like to see people enjoy this job a little more, because I mean, I gotta tell you, most of my young youth, once I became good at it and felt confident with it, I really, really enjoyed it. And I got to spend a lot of time with my dad and my brother. Who gets to say that? You know what I mean?
That's cool.
I mean, I literally got to spend most of my 20s every day with my family. And it was a gas. Like, I mean, that's something I'll never get to do again. So, I mean, that was a huge deal. And I got to meet a lot of cool people, and drywall took me to a lot of cool places. And I got to see and do a lot of things, all based on the fact that I knew how to tape. So it's a very cool opportunity I had, and I'd still keep going. I'm still learning stuff every day. You know, right when you think you have this industry licked, or you think, oh, I've been in this for, you know, I'm 42 now and I've been literally born into this trade. Yeah. You think you know it all, and then there's days I show up and I learn 3 new things that I never learned about how a building comes together when it comes to drywall. And I feel like the new guy all of a sudden, you know, But yeah, I mean, it's fun. You know, there's always something to learn. You know, you got to stay humble. You know, you got to stay, you know, low key and just try to enjoy the time you got on the job, and try to make it enjoyable for others.
Fozzie, Sean Fawcett, episode 77. You've had a bunch, Foz. Yeah. You're much more broad than I would have expected. I didn't know what to think, but you're very knowledgeable about the construction industry, and very, very easy to talk to. This has been a fantastic interview. But if you could say or put on the billboard something that a little pearl of wisdom you could bestow on the drywall community, what would it be?
I think what I did quote earlier about, it's not about your destination, it's about your journey. Like it's not about getting to your destination, it's about the journey to your destination, right? And you know, enjoy the small moments, right? Don't it can be very mundane just going through the motions every day. You got to have fun. You got to laugh. You got to try to create fun for even if you're by yourself. Like when I was taping by myself, like I was trying to dance and record myself being goofy, and you know, you can't be that way every day, right? Like, you know, my truck is in the shop right now and I'm probably looking at a couple grand in repairs, but you still got to smile, wake up and have fun and have a good day, and not let things completely consume you and ruin you. So it's about the journey, right? And you have a choice, either be negative or be happy and positive, and that choice is completely up to you, minute by minute, every day, right? Yeah, I love it, man. Like I love it. Even you know, you're sober yourself, and I wish we talked more about this, but I wish we did. Sorry, it's okay. but one thing in AA is that this shall too pass, right? And that's something.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've stuck with me, where it's like, this shall too pass. The good times, the bad times, the mediocre times, like it will all pass. And so how many years have you been sober? I forgot. It's like 10 or 12, isn't it?
19.
19. Holy jeez, man. That is awesome.
Yeah, 20 years, March 11th. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's exciting, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That is freaking huge. I hope I get to that. I know I will, but I can never go back.
It's a long time to not smoke a joint or have a beer, It gets a little dicey when I'm hanging out with these crazy drywall dudes, that's for sure. But I love it though, just the same. I don't want they just do their thing, and I'm just hanging out. It's a blessing. And for me, I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing. Maybe if I was distracted by all that, So
no, that's
we don't get into it too heavy on here, but there's been some guests that have ventured into the realm of sobriety, and I feel like there's an element of inspiration, maybe, that comes from talking about it a little bit, or at least what I like to leave people with the idea that, like, if they can talk, if they would like to talk to me, they can message me, or if they would like to talk to Sean about your experience with recovery, they could reach out. This isn't really a recovery podcast. I think it's there. It's prevalent in the construction industry. And I want people to know that it's okay. Like, people are clean and sober. It is possible. And there are people to talk to.
Yeah, and I will say, like, to attest to it all, like, when I quit drinking, that's when I really excelled at my taping and even at carpentry, because my mind was just clear, and I excelled tremendously at my trades, and life just got a lot better, man. I'm just a lot happier, and I'm a lot better, and my emotions, I don't let things, like, it's just it's a way better life.
Yeah. Not as many hangovers.
No, man.
Cullen Sellinger, episode 76. And then your pearl of wisdom, buddy.
My pearl of wisdom. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Just be nice to everybody, and the world will be a much better. Easier said than done sometimes, man. But yes, I agree. Sometimes I have to stop myself. I want to be a dick. And maybe some people think I am a dick, but like, I heard something. I was talking to a friend last night, Chad Hesher, and he said something that really pissed me off, and I wanted to blow up this guy's site today, and I stopped myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go around, and everyone that has posted that frustrates me, maybe they're doing plaster, doing something I don't like, I'm going to go and like their stuff and comment that nice work or something. Like, it's such a good practice, and it got me out of that space of, like, F you, you're doing it wrong. Why are you such a dick? Just being mean, Right. Or a better one, control the controllables. Don't worry about everything else.
Control the controllables.
Don't worry about anything else.
2, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Control the controllables. There are certain things that are out of our control, that accept it, move on. And there's certain things that we can't control. Give me the wisdom to really know the difference. Things I can control versus the things that I can't. Things I can control, maybe, take a look at that. I love it, though. I love the serenity prayer.
Do you know what the one about knowledge and wisdom is?
What? Let's hear it.
Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.
I like it. Or eat it, because I don't like tomatoes. Like, wisdom is like, don't even eat it.
Oh, you are missing out.
I know. They're good for you. If you're a tomato lover out there, shout out. Danny Moody, episode 75. Yeah.
And then lastly, a pearl of wisdom that you can bestow upon the drywall community. Danny, you've got a bunch.
I think it goes back to the one I was telling you about my kids.
Yes.
You know, if you are negative, the people you're training are going to be negative as well. If you're positive, they're going to see that. Like, I just finished a job yesterday, a smooth wall job.
Nice.
And the homeowners, they know other drywallers, and they liked me and my dad's energy because we're positive. We're always laughing, joking, like, just be positive, and that will exude to the people around you.
Yeah. I would take it a step further too. And on a job site, I think that's energy that you're putting into the house, not to be like, too witchy about it, but you're putting, not only are you putting your hands on somebody's future home, but that's like energy going to that job. You're all mad, you're down, you're putting energy. It's bad juju. Right. I believe that. I believe that energy is powerful, and it lingers there long after the contractor's gone. And that's just for all trades, man. Believe in what you do and do your best, and realize that you're producing something that somebody's going to enjoy for years to come. Gloria Fuentes, episode 74. Something, let's just do the pearl of wisdom. So if Gloria Fuentes could bestow a pearl of wisdom on the drywall community and beyond, what would it be?
I saw this on your other podcasts.
Okay.
And I thought I was ready for this, and
Come on.
I had something. But after the conversations that we've had in the past couple of days and past 24 hours, I think that the pearl of wisdom that I'm going to leave folks with is, have no fear. And I say that because I have changed careers and lived by recently mostly faith to build this multiple six-figure business and to grow a community of sub-trades that I enjoy working with, within Glowjoy companies and within all the projects that we project manage that have the same mission and vision as I do, and who embrace me regardless of how long I've been in the drywall community or the painting community or the remodeling community or not. And I'm looking now at projects where we would be hanging the drywall, taping the drywall, and painting. So doing a lot of the finishing for, a 50-unit building, 100-unit buildings. And those are the type of bid packages that I'm getting for, the little remodeling company that which was just me and a helper. And so if people out there, and I know most of the community here owns their own business, I will say, have no fear. Don't be afraid of growth. Hire trainers, hire mentors. It's just going to help you elevate your business that much faster. Now that I know so many of you, and I have interacted with so many of you, if there's an opportunity for me to work a project with you guys where I even get paid like a nominal fee just to do my job and sweep the floor, but I get to learn, I will do it. Yeah, I'll do it because it's an opportunity to learn from veterans in the industry. And that's how I learned carpentry. That's how I learned the little bit about electrical that I know, the little bit about framing, everything that I know, tile, I know a little bit about enough to be dangerous with YouTube direction and my network to complete jobs. So, also we'll say to sub-trades, don't be cocky. Okay. Like, just don't, because there's going to be somebody like me who's going to be like, you know what, just pack up. I'll figure out how to finish this myself.
Danny Carrillo, episode 71. Love it. And a pearl of wisdom. I ask everybody for a pearl of wisdom that you could bestow on the drywall community or the drywall plaster community as a whole.
Well, just in general, if you do what you say you're going to do, show up on time, call if you're not going to be there, price is not an issue.
Okay.
Because you're already leaps and bounds above the general contractor population.
And try to get a third up front.
Try and get a third up front. Yeah, because you don't want to.
Because you don't want to be 10 years into your business and maybe they just withhold $1 million from you. You do not want to be in that boat.
It sucks when you can't fly airplanes anymore.
That would suck.
Because it's an expensive. You have to have a business that has some volume in it to be able to fly airplanes. Because it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Just to get your pilot's license and fly around a bit is expensive.
That was cheap. They had a deal here at the community college when I got it when I was 40.
Okay, but to fly, you're talking about like renting a plane, flying from A to B,
or renting or buying.
Did you buy a plane?
No, I just rented.
You just rented,
but it was $210 an hour. Was
it less expensive to rent a plane and fly it to San Antonio than to just take a commercial?
So if you put 4 people, it's cheaper, but people won't fly with me.
No,
I only got one eye.
No.
I'm not getting an airplane with you.
I'd fly with you, buddy. Dusty Pollard, episode 70.
That's the way I do it now.
Old dogs. We'll call this the Old Dogs Can Be Taught New Tricks segment of the podcast. And then sometimes. And then, of course, your Pearl of Wisdom.
Oh, my Pearl of Wisdom. There's always, more than one way to skin a cat.
Yes.
You get taught like one way to do things, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's what works for you and the job.
Sure. And maybe don't be so judgmental of other systems until you've tried it. I mean, I was always judgmental, like I was on this podcast about the banjo.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some dudes, especially down here, that can really rip that banjo, man. And it has to do with multiple people. So with the banjo, if you've got a couple of banjos loaded, these dudes will go around and they'll rip the banjo, and then you've got dudes, or maybe the apprentice is filling up the banjo. I mean, at that point, okay, like you could have 2 bazookas like rolling too, and like nobody'd be able to keep up. No. But I've seen but now you're in $3,000 versus a couple $100. That's a significant difference, you know.
Yeah, bazookas are definitely a big money tool. So.
It's big money, but they're so worth it too. And you're still using Can-Am tools, correct?
Yeah, I do. But I still, if I'm doing a big house, I will run the Columbia taper.
Alana Nicole Black, episodes 96 and 97. I like it. Pearl of Wisdom. What do you got?
I have something different. It is the 8-year anniversary of an anonymous letter that I got.
Okay.
So I thought I would read this to you.
Yes.
This was a letter that I got written to me and mailed on an unmarked envelope, no return address. And it was tight. The address to me was tight, and you can't tell who wrote it, right?
Love it.
Anonymous letter that was
love it.
Me. All right.
Not a death threat.
It says, "Hi, Alana. I thought it was finally time for someone to give you a different perspective. Just cut back. This is my first year. I had just bought the business.
Okay.
Never in my long executive career, true executive, have I come across someone like you that is so self-promoting, has a bigger need to be seen as heroic, and is so disingenuous as you in how you describe yourself and how you utterly wonderful you purport yourself to be. A 26-year-old that did such a stupendous job of turning around a very small business that sells commodities. Really? That's a swipe at people that have turned around large public companies through executing more ability and know-how than you'll ever have with the same title you claim, and who really do have educated, experienced executives working as direct reports. A small drywall company doesn't need a CEO when there aren't really any true executives in the company, including you. Also, get off the Chamber of Commerce. You serve very well to dilute the qualifications and standing of others that contribute immensely more to the business community than you ever will. Your self-promotion is shameless. Lesser people have done much more for society without the obvious need to be personally adored and worshiped in business. A true leader has no need for personal credit or the need to tell their story and over and over and over. Posting price increase letters on LinkedIn? Really? Who do you think really cares other than you? Your proclaimed efforts outside of your business are, in reality, for personal and disingenuous recognition. Nobody cares that you are a woman in business. Nobody cares that you own a company. And nobody cares much at all about who you think you are. You would serve yourself and others by not being disingenuous and just quietly running your business. If you read this far, I'm surprised. Think about it. Your personal values are misplaced. Learn to be genuine, look people in the eye, and then look at yourself. I think that would be difficult for you to do until you learn what humble means. Yours truly, a friend. So that was sent to me anonymously. And so my words of wisdom are, there are going to be critics out there. There are going to be people that are jerks out there. There are going to be people that try to tear you down and tell you that you're worthless, that you are disingenuous, that you just need to sit down and be quiet.
I don't want to offend anybody, but have some balls and sign it. They
put an illegible signature on there, an illegible, so you can't read it. You don't know what it says, but
whatever.
I see women out there, especially female contractors, and I see some of the language and the hate that they're getting.
Oh, yeah.
They're just showing off. They're, looking for attention. And I
get jealous. I get jealous at all the damn likes, and we talk about it when I have females on the Drywall podcast.
Well, my words of wisdom are to those women: keep telling your story. Do not sit down. Do not be quiet. Do not make your light smaller to make somebody else feel more comfortable. And so they're doing good work out there, and they're promoting the industry. And so I want to encourage not just women, men too, men that are told that, this craft is not something to be proud of. We all have something to be proud of. We all have part of what I love about this podcast is people telling their stories. And so I want people to keep telling their stories, because it's those stories that brings humanity back into the industry and back into the trades. And so I just want to be encouraging on that.
I love it.
My last words of wisdom, are, this is my one highlight, my biggest highlight in my career. So this was quoted by Inc. magazine from me, but my grandfather taught me that you win business one of two ways: either being the best or being the cheapest. And my grandmother taught me that a lady is never cheap. So there you go.
Of course not. I like it. Alana Black, Rocket City Drywall, Back to Earth Gypsum Products, mogul, I would say, in the drywall space. I met you at Intex, I think AWCI 23, but we had known each other for a long time. You're always in the forefront of the industry. Never shy away from your accolade, despite what this anonymous character had to say. I think that, and I could end it on, it reminds me of a Marianne Williamson quote: our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, it's that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, fabulous, and gorgeous? Who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in every one of us. And as we let our light shine, our presence automatically gives others permission to do the same.
Oh, that makes me tear up a little bit. I love that so much.
I heard that. It's actually in a book. Marianne Williamson, who's actually a presidential candidate, mind you, running independently, wrote a book called Return to Love, and it's in there. And yeah,
I'm adding that on my list today.
It's been my guiding light. She's unreal. And imagine having the courage to, and I follow her on Instagram, and I mean, she's amazing. Imagine having the courage to run for president. So, what she must endure as an independent
job.
As an independent.
Because I think farmers markets are tough, man.
Yeah. Just, following your passion. Alice Brooking, episode 69. One thing I ask all of the interviewees is for a pearl of wisdom that you could bestow on the drywall community. What would it be?
Pearl of wisdom. Oh, okay. Pearl of wisdom. Something that my dad taught me is you can never finish something on the first coat.
Okay.
So it always takes more than that.
Don't try. We've all tried. If you're listening, don't even say that you haven't tried to coat something once and leave, and then the homeowner called you back, because we've all tried it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, can't finish something on the first coat, and that can be related to so many things, though.
Yeah,
it can be related to what it's meaning for, actually work drywall, but also it takes more than just one attempt at something to make something work.
Yeah.
You got to do more. You got to do more coats. You got to do more practice.
Yeah. I've heard the expression that I've heard is if you can't take the time to do it right the first time, how are you ever going to find the time to do it over? I've always liked that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I think it was on a sign at a mechanic shop, appropriately enough at a mechanic shop. But, Alice Brooking, that plastering girl out of Auckland, New Zealand, with us on the Drywall Podcast today. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. What a great conversation. Kevin Bush, part 4, episode 79. It's just interesting to me, the challenges. We got a visitor. Tell me your name. Who are we talking to here?
That's my nephew Heath that's doing our edition that works with Chris doing drywall.
Oh, okay. Heath, yeah.
Heath Jimerson. How's it going, Nick? We love Fresco Harmony.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, Drive It is making a product for putting in your shower that's waterproof, and the finish just looks just like Fresco Harmony.
Drive It. Is it micro cement?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and it's the EFIS. It's like similar to the EFIS product, for the exterior.
Yeah, we have a project.
Instead of tile that you always have to clean the ground and reseal it all the time. He did a job with it 3 years ago in Bozeman.
Yeah.
And he said it still looks like they just did it. It's like 7 coats, and then he put multiple coats of sealer over it.
Yeah.
It's waterproof and maintenance free.
I think it's great. I mean, I think it's a great product. We just did a house here where the lady was going to do some sort of lime on all of her walls, and I sold her on Fresco Harmony. She came to the office. They're doing micro cement in their bathroom, in the shower area. They had challenges with the contractor. So then you get into the applicators. You have to have a good applicator that puts it on. It is laborious and time consuming. You ain't going to do the whole house in micro cement,
but it's very cool in shower settings. I think it's awesome.
No, quick, I wonder while he's here because he's got to go work. That big job he and Chris were doing probably may fit into this whole like Rocky Mountain adventure you want to do.
Yeah.
He's going to be talking to the owners.
Okay.
He's doing a job like this in Colorado where he's going to have like 6 or 7 guys come and bang this big job out. So Nick said he'll help with that with the owners and all. But I was talking about that big job you guys bid. It's like 800 sheets.
Yeah, it's a 10,000 square foot structure. It's a barn dominium. Yeah, just shy of 800 sheets. So I'm gonna try and sell them on some fresco harmony on some walls in the living area, which is the second story above, in this barn dominium.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the thing is gigantic. It's the biggest barn dominium I've ever seen. It's great.
Let's chat. I have some time, like a little bit later. I'll give you a call and we'll just chat about this concept of.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Like 2 months, and all these guys are coming in and figuring it out. Okay.
Yeah.
So Nick, when I walk into Cameron's office, it's just like has this amazing fresco harmony glow. It's the vibes are amazing.
The energy, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I'm telling you, it's so cool.
I'm glad you like. It's just joint compound, man. It's just joint compound.
I know, but the other cool thing is with adding like the sand finish and all to make it like an old, like plaster wall. What I need, so all the things you got bigger.
We'll talk about that too, and that method is fast. Like there's a way to do that sand finish where you can blow it out like very fast.
Yeah. Okay. No,
we'll talk about it.
About that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to meet you, sir. Yep. John Galtiero, episode 63. One thing I ask all of the interviewees is a pearl of wisdom that you could bestow upon the drywall community. What would that be?
Wow. That's a good question. What would that be? Bestow. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. And everybody says, when somebody says that, be honest. I wish we could get more young people to do this trade and maybe like even have trade schools so we can learn how to do this stuff right and do it where drywallers get such a bad name.
Yeah.
And it's just, I love the trade. I've tried to get away from it. It's given me major anxiety before.
Yeah.
Man, all I can say is, man, if you're a drywaller out there, just keep putting the mud to the wall, man, and just show everybody what you can do. Because drywallers are, like I said, drywallers are a unique bunch of individuals, and that's what we are as individuals. Everybody has different ways to how to do this stuff, and if we can all get together like on forums like this and kind of like, hey, man, let's see what you do, let's see what he does, let's see what I do, and we can all get together and kind of put our brains together. There's really nothing a drywaller can't do. So, you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I lost your audio, dude.
What happened?
I have no clue. That's so weird.
You went all this time and then nothing happened, but we got towards the end and it did it. So
I know.
It's time to go.
You were just at the tail end of your pearl of wisdom. But anyways, I wanted to call you back on the phone so that we could at least say goodbye. Thank you so much for being on the Drywall Podcast today, man. It was awesome.
Man, Nick, I appreciate it, man. I had a great time, and I like maybe within a year or so, 6 months, I could do it again.
Big Dog Drywall, episode 62. Very cool. One thing I ask all the interviewees is pearl of wisdom, man. What is your pearl of wisdom? You've given lots of good pearls of wisdom, but specifically to the drywall community, if you could bestow a bit of wisdom, what would it be?
This is what I actually just started teaching my guy that started working with me again, because I've really taken this one in and realized this one as of late. And this is what you need to do if you want to succeed with it, is care, no matter what it is. And I even tell them, it doesn't matter if you're at the beginning stage or at the end stage. It's just care about it and make it a passion, because otherwise it's just a job to you and it's not going to be fun. And all the drywall stuff, well, drywall is going to suck if you don't, you know what I mean? You got to care about what you do. Yeah,
anything.
So that's the number one thing, and that's the number one thing that your quality, cleanliness, all will come with that, because you care about your job. So number one thing, Care about your job.
Yeah,
Because
I like
everything
it.
will come with that. Everything will come with that. Everyone's going to respect the guy that cares about his job, cares about his business, and the way he presents himself. So,
Yeah.
care.
Very good. Very good. I love it. Ryan Glass, episode 61. Cool. Ryan Glass, smooth as glass. What is your pearl of wisdom for the drywall community? You've had some good ones, but if you could put some on a billboard, what would it be?
I'm not sure if it fit on a billboard, but I would say if you're getting into the drywall, this goes for the younger guys just getting into it.
Okay.
I'm training 2 guys right now, and what I try to explain to them is the first 6 months of learning to mud, you're going to hate drywall. But the second you learn how to do it, you're going to love it. So
Love
just
that.
stick it out. Just stick it out.
I love it. I love it. This is to the newbies, man. It's when you learn how to float that corner bead, to me was always like, that was the, I loved running corner bead. It was cool, man. There's something really artistic about it, and you can get good at it where you're leaving it like just flat. You put that knife up there and there's no gap, and your angles, you brush it off a little bit, and it's like, it's perfect, and all that's with mud. When you can learn to do that, there's something really special about it, and gratifying too. So, Elise Chu, episode 60.
Yeah.
So, one thing I do ask each interviewee that comes on the show is a pearl of wisdom to bestow to the drywall community. If you had one for all your drywall peers, what would it be?
Take care of your kit, and your kit will take care of you.
Jeff Schultz, episode 59.
I'll send him a mud runner if he wants to trade.
There you go. I don't think he plays in the mud too much though in that capacity. I think that guy is just all bead all day, man.
He might have better luck selling it in the big city than I will here. So
yeah. What's your pearl of wisdom? Then I asked everybody a pearl of wisdom to bestow upon the drywall community.
Oh man. Check your work and don't forget to breathe.
Ooh, good one.
Those are the best ones. That one was given to me. That don't forget to breathe was given to me when I was fighting angle box in my second year.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the corner and I was choking this angle box, and my boss walks by and he's like, "Hey man," I'm like, "What? You want some advice?" "Sure." "Don't forget to breathe." And he just smirks and walks away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That's it? Are you kidding?" I was furious. And it turns out to be the best advice I've ever got.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know sometimes too, when I'd be working like large wall, you're on a job, I'm doing like miles of fresco harmony, my shoulders are tense, I'm all tensed up, I'm listening to music, and it's like, oh, wait. Yeah, this is a meditation. Relax your shoulders, breathe, and allow that flow. Try not to tense up so much, I think, is a huge component of, especially with the tools. All of the mechanics to drywall finishing are so fluid, and I think it translates to how our relationship to the wall and to the tool that we're using and to the mud, like our calmness, and also it's better for you.
Oh yeah, breathing is good. Like breathing is really important for everything.
Yeah.
Dude,
Nathan Binkle, episode 57.
One of the things that I like is that I get to put my kid on the bus every morning. Some days I get to be home before he's even off the bus, so I get to pick him up and, I get to see my family. I haven't heard anybody. In fact, one of the things of advice that I have had is spend time with your kids. You're never going to regret the amount of time that you spend with your kids.
Nope.
And working for these other companies that want to pay you, not really what it's worth to do the job that we're doing, to be honest.
You were wise though back in the day when you said, "Nah, I'm not going to do it for triple or quadruple the money. It's not about the money. I can't get that time back." People don't realize that, especially early on. You're hungry, you want to make money. That's all fine, but as a
father that enjoys hanging out with my son, that is a very precious thing. And it's like, he's already 7. It's like, he's halfway there, they turn 13. They're gone.
Yeah, I was just going to say, eventually there's going to be that time where they don't want anything to do with us. And it's like, okay, well, then I'll start working more and I'll start taking those jobs. Like I see Brawley's dad, who works so much, and part of me's jealous because I like to work hard and I like to get things done. But the other part of me is like, I'm perfect. Like, things are perfect the way they're working out right now. Like, most days I go for like 6 hours. I get done what I need to get done.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a one-man crew. So when I go check out a job, I'm like, okay, it's probably going to take me about 2 to 2.5 weeks to get this done. Yeah. And I'll let the people know that. They're totally okay with it. So I'm not doing 10 and 12-hour days ever right now.
No, time is a precious commodity, and you have something you can grow to a certain point. You're in charge of how much money you make. It's pretty fantastic in this trade to run your own company. It's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very lucky where I'm at right now. Since I started in last September, I've had like no downtime. I've actually had times where I'm like, I'm going to take, this time off at Christmas, or actually I was supposed to have like this upcoming week off. I was going to do paperwork and stuff like that. And I picked up 2 jobs, like, I'm like, I haven't had any time where I've been like,
and are you getting to the point where you pump the price a little bit on job? You don't want to take the job, so you pump the price a little bit. You still get the job. It's like,
I've done that.
Yeah.
Occasionally. And then I've had others where, I tell them the price and they're like, no, that's not.
Yeah. You think it's good. And they're like, what are you, nuts? This is just drywall. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not going to waste the time. Sorry.
Exactly. I'm like, it's cool if you don't want me to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I feel like I'm at the point now where I know what I'm bringing to the table. I know what kind of quality I'm going to bring to your place.
Smart.
The work that and the fact that, I will come back and fix things if anything happens. I had one of the guys that I was flipping some houses for. He actually owns a roofing company as well, and he referred me to a house, just like a popcorn removal and a patch job and a ceiling. And I went to go do that, and then of course his company's doing a roof like just down the road. So I pull up and he's there, and I go talk to him, and he's a really good entrepreneur and knows his stuff. And so he's talking to me, and then he was telling me like, like people are buying you. He's like, anybody, how many drywallers and tapers there are around? Like, people are buying you when they're buying Nathan's drywall.
They'll pay for they'll pay a few extra $1,000 for Nathan. You bet.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, I feel like that's kind of, like I said, I've had great clients. And it's not just that I've had great clients. I feel like part of it is me doing the job.
Rob McKay, episode 56. Pearl of wisdom for the drywall community. What would it be if you could tell the drywall community something inspirational from Rob McKay, something special?
Give our tools a chance, and it'll make a difference in your production for sure, right?
Yeah. Try the Pro Bead Ink tools, the pole sponge and the pole roller. Soon to be cooler names, maybe. Who knows? Maybe we'll just stick with pole roller and pole sponge. Those are good.
Yeah.
But
drywallers like to keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple, and that's not a bad thing. Rob, thanks for being with us on the show today, man. Rick Hardman, episode 55. Sometimes, like, if you wait too long, you never do it,
Well, I got 40 years into this. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand that, okay? But these have to be rock solid, because I don't want to be the guy that buys that thing that isn't quite up to.
Yeah, and get all pissed. Yeah. Rick Hardman, we have one thing I ask of all of my interviewees is a pearl of wisdom that you can bestow upon the drywall community. before we wrap up, what would it be?
For me in my life, don't be arrogant, because for me, it's caused mistakes. It's caused being involved with the wrong people. It is shoot for humility and appreciation for those that support you.
Humility. I love it. And shout out to Brendan Freeman for just like, he was like, dude, man, you should check out Rick. It'd be a good interview. And it has been a good interview. And I'll definitely be, I'll probably give a shout out to Aaron and be like, hey, dude, have you seen what this guy's working on? You might want to check it out. It's pretty cool. Daniel Atkinson, episode 52. Do you have a pearl of wisdom for our audience? Something you could bestow on the drywall community, a little bit of brilliance.
I think just every day is a school day. You learn every day from everyone. If anyone says to you to try something, try it and see if it works.
I like it. And like going on the podcast, it's no big deal. We just sat around, had a little conversation, a little convo. I appreciate it. It's 5 o'clock there in the afternoon.
It's nearly 6. It's nearly 6, yeah.
Nearly 6. And are you married with children or anything like that?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm married and I've got 4 kids.
Oh, wow. So I really appreciate your time today. I know that it's kind of hard to peel away from life and all that. What's the age spectrum on your children? Derek Trout, episode 53. Another thing that I do, Derek, for all of my episodes is I request from you a pearl of wisdom that you can bestow upon the drywall community before we wrap up. What would you say if you could put something on a billboard all these crazy drywall guys and gals could see?
Well, the thing I would like to share is, don't be afraid to share some of your knowledge with somebody else, especially a younger person. A lot of people will be they want to keep everything proprietary. They don't want somebody to learn something because they're afraid that they're going to go into business against them. Share what you know. You're not taking it with you to the grave. And I've never found that it comes back to bite me too much. I've helped guys learn how to repair tools, even though, that's the business I'm in. If I see a spark that somebody's going to be doing a good job, or they're going to be, bringing something positive to the trade or to the world in general, go ahead and share. You don't, just, be kind and share what you know. And that's kind of the point. And that's part of the reason that I enjoy what I do now, is because I can take my past experiences and I can help somebody move beyond what they're doing at this point. And that's, I guess, in a nutshell, what I would share as far as a pearl of wisdom, if it's, if you want to call it that.
Christy Slade, part 2, episode 53 and a half. Nice. I like it. And then if you had if you want to say something to the girls out there thinking about coming into the trade, sort of a part 2 pearl of wisdom for the women in construction, or if you're thinking about being in construction, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, give it a chance. Like, look at me. I've been in it 18 years and I've just been growing ever since. And honestly, the amount of people that I met in this trades and in the drywall community is amazing. Like, all you guys, like every single one of you have inspired me in some way or pushed me in some way or introduced me to something new. And it's just like the support's really there. And honestly, as uncomfortable as it may seem in your head, it's a lot more comfortable when you're on site. And the first day may be hard, but every day is going to be easier after that. And honestly, I don't feel like I know I'm a woman and there's not a ton of women on job sites, but I don't feel out of place. I feel like right at home.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got to push through, not even the first day, man. It's like first 3 months, it's like, it seems weird because, and some days are better than others. Then you get to know the crew. and you're more knowledgeable about what you're doing each day, but you have to get through that uncomfortable starting point of construction, and it is hard, but it's rewarding.
Walking on a job site with a couple hundred men. I know, because I suffered with anxiety when I was younger, and I used to have to do that, and I was like so nervous. And honestly, like, it's not even biggest deal is that you make it out in your head. It's not that big of a deal. We can do it too. I'm starting to see women on every job site now, and not just one, like a few or more.
Yep.
And like I said, I feel so comfortable. I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Time to fire up that women's committee in your area, right?
Yes, definitely. In all of Ontario.
That's your next step, correct? You want to put together a little committee. Yeah. Excellent. Christy Slade, simply Christy Slade, doing amazing things in the union and beyond. Thank you for being on the Drywall Podcast today. Bernie St. James, episode 54.
So there's, it's quite a slice, this whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, this crazy life.
Yeah.
So one thing I do ask all the interviewees is for a pearl of wisdom. You've had a bunch this episode, but if you had a pearl of wisdom you could bestow specifically to the drywall community, what would it be?
Wow. That is a good one. I don't know what I don't know. It's just
what would you tell all these crazy drywallers out there? If you could, you got one shot to tell them something you could put on a billboard.
Yeah. Well, find out exactly what you're meant for.
Yeah.
And just follow it like just go for it. You don't think you got to be doing this or that. Just stay in your lane or whatever you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can do that through looking at. I've done a bit of astrology charts and stuff, and found quite a bit about myself. And just find out what resonates in your heart, and what feels like porridge or feels comfortable and that you love to do.
Yeah,
and just do it.
Yeah,
and don't worry about what Sam's doing or Frank's doing,
or what your mom tells you,
or what your mom tells you. Just stay in your lane and that's huge for me. I kept having to come back to that all the time, all the time, because I have I should be doing this, or I shouldn't be doing this way, or just block it out.
Yeah,
Stay in that.
Trust your instincts.
Yeah, stay with your soul. What feels good for you.
Cool. Yeah. Bernie St. James, Columbia Tools. It's an amazing brand. It's an amazing tool. Thanks for joining us live. We will put this. I'm also recording on the computer, so I'm gonna put this into a sweet podcast that's gonna go on very soon, and it'll be organized and neat so that you can listen to it in your car or whatever. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, getting to know you. We just met yesterday in the remodel, and we're doing some fresco harmony and playing around, and Bernie's being a good sport and letting me mess up his house a little bit with some colored mud. And we'll probably see each other down the road. Shout out to all of the ballers and badasses who've graced the Drywall Podcast with their presence over the last 50 episodes and your pearls of wisdom. I sincerely appreciate it. Our listeners appreciate it. You guys are the backbone of this industry, and we appreciate you. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, Pearls of Wisdom, episode 98, as much as I did. I really get a kick out of meeting all of you. I feel that the Drywall Podcast brings community and knowledge to the industry, and I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to do this with all of you and talk to all of you and meet all of you. It's been one of the highlights of my life, and I really appreciate you for that. This episode of the Drywall Podcast and all of the episodes of the Drywall Podcast in the month of June are brought to you by Rocket City Drywall out of Huntsville, Alabama. Not only are they contributing to the success of the Drywall Podcast, but you can listen to owner Alana Black's story on episodes 96 and 97. Alana is a powerhouse. She was YP of the Year, Chamber of Commerce 2016, Female Entrepreneur of the Year, Women's Business Center 2018, Alabama Small Business Person of the Year, SBA, Washington, D.C. 2019. And that last one is probably the most significant. The Federal Small Business Administration selects one nominated business owner from each state. Check out her episodes. They are awesome. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today. I sincerely appreciate you for doing that. If you have questions about the Drywall Podcast, you could email me at info@frescoharmony.com. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and remember, keep drywalling.